afternoon. Perfect. So I end up back in like downtown Atlanta, you know, downtown Atlanta, Kansas, Atlanta, but downtown Atlanta. And I end up at this godly place because it was a nonprofit organization. We won't go into that. I'm not going to diss what God used, what the devil meant for my harm, God used for my blessings. We ain't going to talk about that. But in this, I ended up downtown where I got tested, and my hood come out. My hood come out. My hood come out. So the second when I went back downtown to the park and stuff, people were like, "Hey!" They tested me to see if I had heart and to see this, see if they can intimidate me. They could not. They could. They could not. I would walk up to cars in Atlanta. They knew who I was. Google main office is in Atlanta. I was frauded by who? Google. The people in Atlanta. It's worse. I mean, it connected. Don't get it twisted. I'm not dumb. I know my story. I walked up on some of these cars. One day, I sensed that this guy was looking at me. I'm like, this mother trucker. I'm scared. My butt's a little bit tight. He has something to do with it. He knows who I am. I had no idea who he is. So I walked. Holy Spirit said, walk up to that vehicle. I walked right up to that vehicle. The guy driving starts laughing and gives me $1 because I'm taking up donations for the nonprofit I'm staying at. The guy that was giving me, like, trying to intimidate me, if I don't know what God let him see, but if you could have seen his face was like he had seen, I don't know what he had seen. I don't know what God showed him. And the other guy was just like, what? Like she did walk up to him. And in this, I was on Wesley Chapel, and there was an agent, an FBI agent behind the van we were in. And I was telling my friends, I'm like, that's an agent. And they're like, what? And I'm like, yeah. About that time, all these boys on four-wheelers and motorcycles, hey, boys, pulled up. They looked right at me, and they heard the call in the spirit. Looked right at it, was driving real fast on these four-wheelers and dirt bikes around this, that the unmarked vehicle behind me left. And they're all looking at me. They heard it in the spirit. God done gave it in the spirit before I ever got there. And they received it. In this, we'd be sitting out getting collections. Guys would go by, and I was like, I wish they would. And all of a sudden, they'd raise up. My buddy looked at me and said, they doing that for you? They doing that for you? And I'm like, yeah, thanks. I know. You just making me nervous. But I walked up on cars and making and stuff, and people would be like, and I was just shooting. I had, I'm just testing the waters. And they're like, this girl looks at me. I look at her. I said, "Hey." I said, "How are you doing?" I'm like, "You know who I am?" They're like, "Yes." I said, "If the mouth moves like an old Bruce Lee movie, it must be fraud." And they both started laughing, him and her, and she said, "I told them you knew what was going on, girl. You keep going." I walked up on another girl. She said, "I know who you are." And I'm like, "No, you don't." I said, "Oh, social media." She said, "Yes, girl, you are crazy. Keep doing what you're doing." And after that, my donations got better. Once the ice got broken, like, she ain't playing. She ain't playing. She's not scared of us. She knows that she's divinely protected and divinely guided. And she's cool. It's not what we've seen, whoever tried to make her look like, because we're a witnesser and seeing her spirit up front. Won a lot of people that was indecisive and stuff for God. Because, honey, I was a social media superstar and had no clue. But if it moves like this, it's fraud. And if I won't come on and talk to you, then it's not me because I'm going to. I ain't going to make an excuse. My phone ain't broke. My mouth's going to match my words and all that. But I ended up leaving that place one day when the pastor accused me of stealing. Or he said, "I heard you say you was going to steal." I said, "I'm out of here, man. I ain't putting up with this." Left all my stuff. God been preparing me to move. And I ended up in Alpharetta then. That's a whole nother story. Love and light. That's just some cool things about God in my story. God is not a respecter of persons, and he rewards, he sees all and knows all.